At another hospital funded by Indonesia, Gaza's health ministry said at least 12 Palestinians were killed and dozens wounded by firing into the complex encircled by Israeli tanks. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli military about the situation at the hospital, where health officials said 700 patients, along with staff, were under fire from Israeli forces. In fact, the Palestinian news agency WAFA said that the facility in the northeast Gaza town of Beit Lahia had been hit by artillery fire. Palestinian health officials said that there were frantic efforts to evacuate civilians out of harm's way. So they've moved on. They've moved on to the next hospital where people are sheltering for safety. It doesn't matter. You're in a hospital, they're gonna go after it. You're in a UN building for protection, they're gonna go after it. They're gonna bombard that as well. That's happened multiple times already. Hospital staff denied there was any armed militants on the premises. Israel says its forces in Gaza are attacking terror infrastructure.
Come on.
And accuse Hamas of waging war behind human shields, including in hospitals. I mean, they just repeat and regurgitate the same tired talking points over and over again, despite having failed to provide evidence of the previous hospital that they attacked, okay? And there's Nahid Abu Taima, who is a doctor of the Nasser Hospital in the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis. He told Reuters that he's actually worried about the fate of his colleagues who have been wounded and the wounded in this hospital, the Indonesian hospital. He said, quote, "We had information earlier that tanks were besieging the Indonesian hospital. Unfortunately, communications there are almost cut. We are very concerned about the fate of our colleagues and the fate of wounded and patients, as well as displaced people who may have still been sheltering there. No ambulances can reach them, and we're afraid the wounded will die." And look, you attack 22 of the hospitals in the Gaza Strip, as the IDF has been doing. Where are people supposed to go to get the treatment they need to stay alive after heavy aerial bombardments? How are these hospitals supposed to function without the necessary fuel to operate and run the various machines within the hospital? I think what's happening is so clear. The starvation, the desperation, the bombardments, the artillery fire, the inoperable hospitals where now people can't even get treatment that they need to stay alive. It's unlivable, literally unlivable conditions made so by the IDF on purpose, and we're all supposed to sit here and pretend like they're not targeting civilians.
Yeah, so first of all, if you said to me there were militants inside that hospital, go ahead and move the tank over and we're gonna fire into the hospital. I would say no. I don't care how many militants are in the hospital, as long as there's patients in that hospital, I'm not gonna fire into the hospital building. You can call it terrorist infrastructure all you like, it's still a hospital. So you're just using Orwellian language in order to justify the war crimes. So now they, as Anna explained earlier in the show, now they're bombing the south. And their excuse for bombing the south is, well, it looks like some Hamas fighters have moved to the south. And what did you think was going to happen? I mean, this is literally on day one, Anna and I got on here and said they're starting to drop thousands of bombs in northern Gaza. And they're saying they're doing this because they're gonna clear out, they're gonna go and attack Hamas there. And I said, why would Hamas stay there? Are they gonna go out in the open and be like, hey, here we are, well, use your bombs on us right here? No, they're gonna use the tunnels to move. And they're obviously gonna move to the south, and then you're gonna bomb the south. And that's exactly what's happening now. Now, you think that Netanyahu couldn't figure that out? He's like, oh, I bet they stay exactly where they are. Oh, golly gee, they moved a couple of weeks later, huh? No, he knew all along. He knew he was gonna bomb the south. And they had started bombing the south earlier, now they're bombing it a lot more. Because they're squeezing the population into a tiny little area, and now they started to plant Israeli flags all over the rubble. And so they're saying, basically rubbing it in, going, we killed people here, we buried them, and then we put an Israeli flag over them. And then they can't figure out why Palestinians hate Israel. Like, golly gee, I don't know, we killed your family members that were civilians, and then we put an Israeli flag to mock them on top of that, and we told them we're gonna occupy you forever. Now, they're almost the entire Israeli government is talking openly, including their president, about how they're gonna keep Gaza. that, well, we have to have a security force in there and reoccupy, etc. So now there's Israeli flags all across the rubble, and they're now bombing the south and going, ha 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 ha, we're gonna keep your land after we killed your civilians. Now over 12,000 dead, now over 5,000 kids. Look, this can't stand. I don't know how it ends, but it doesn't end with Israel squeezing 2.3 million Palestinians into a tiny tract of land, stealing most of Gaza. It doesn't end that way, because it doesn't have anything to do with what we say here. They will accidentally unite Shia and Sunni Muslims that have been at war for about 1,500 years. They will accidentally unite Iran and Saudi Arabia, and they are inviting a wrath that is untold. I hope it doesn't come, but Netanyahu is playing with massive amounts of fire, and he's greatly endangering the Israeli citizens as well as the Palestinians.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.